Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Danny Show. Today I have a very special guest. His name is Kyle Ramnarine. So Kyle Ramnarine is a dedicated multimedia sports journalist with a particular focus on the Toronto Raptors. Kyle brings a dynamic approach to storytelling, combining in-depth analysis with engaging multimedia content. With a background in both broadcast and digital media, he covers everything from game highlights and player interviews to behind-the-scenes features. His passion for basketball and keen insights into the Raptors' strategies makes his coverage a must follow for fans and enthusiasts. Whether on the court or off of it, Kyle captures the heart of the Raptors' journey, delivering stories that resonate with audiences far and wide. He began his career as an intern at the Hockey News, where he collected and analyzed player statistics and edited magazine issues for them. He then became the lead NBA and Toronto Raptors writer for Untapped North, increasing viewership by introducing basketball content and editing articles. As a Toronto Observer, Kyle pitched and wrote articles and captured sports photography. During his internship with Sportsnet 590 The Fan, he managed social media posts, podcast distribution, and created graphics for various shows. Currently, Kyle hosts and produces the Under the Rim podcast, featuring notable guests and handling video production, editing, and audio mixing. He also co-hosts Takefivesports, creating and producing sports-related videos. Additionally, Kyle contributes as a writer and social media content creator for Raptorsrepublic and as a beat writer for the Canadian Elite Basketball League as well. He has obtained an advanced diploma in journalism, as well as a graduate certificate in sports journalism from Centennial College. And now Mr. Kyle Ramnarine joins me live. How are you doing, Kyle?
Doing good. Thank you so much for making me feel special with that intro. I really appreciate it, you know?
No problem, man. It's my pleasure to have you on the show. So let's start. What inspired you to pursue a degree, not a degree, but also a career in sports journalism?
It was really interesting, kind of like my whole life I've really been interested in content creation, in entertainment journalism and sports journalism, but I didn't know what it was called growing up, like I started out as a kid making Lego stop motion on YouTube, and then I
Hmm.
went from that to YouTube gaming walkthroughs, and then I went from that to I started watching Chris Move on YouTube, and then
Hmm.
wanted to do NBA 2K walkthroughs, and then I went from that to sports actual videos like Mike Korzemba. So I knew I wanted to do something in the realm of content creation. So first, before I even went to Centennial, I went to Ryerson for film studies, but I was like,
Hmm.
I wasn't really feeling it too much, and I wanted to really chase my dream within sports. I wanted to create content within sports. So that's when I made the jump. I waited a year, took a year off, figured out I could go to Centennial, do journalism, do sports journalism, and get involved in what I really wanted to do. So that was kind of it. I just chased my passions at the end of the day.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. Honestly, go towards your passions. That's what they always say. So I'm glad that worked out for you. So moving along, what can you share a particularly, special, memorable moment or a game involving the Raptors that solidified your passion for basketball even more?
Um, it was crazy. I gotta think about it. I feel like most recently, like if I had to come off one at the top of my head, was going to a Raptors game for my first time as media, as credentialed media. I did
Hmm.
it when I was interning with Sportsnet 590. That
Hmm.
kind of solidified it. That kind of said, all this hard work really did pay off. I'm really getting to see the players I watch on TV. They're right in front of me warming up, and I just couldn't believe it. Every five
Right.
seconds, like I had William Lou beside me, I had all the Raptors media right there, and I was just asking them. I walked up to Will Lou, and I was like, "Does it ever dawn on you, like, do you ever forget how cool it is, just to be where you are?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess it is pretty cool, if you sit back and really, really take it in." And just watching the Raptors growing up, like it's hard to believe how far I've come, but I think that kind of just solidified everything.
Yeah, that's amazing. So kind of getting that, first step into the
Mhm.
door and really taking it all in. I'm happy that happened for you.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So what challenges have you faced in your career? I know every journalist has,
Mhm.
challenges in their careers. How have you, dealt with them and how have you overcome them?
It's a good question. I think honestly, it was when I first got into journalism, like before I did the sports journalism program at Centennial, it was just regular journalism, just regular news. First assignment we had, it was right during the COVID pandemic era, so a lot of people were still working from home. A lot of people like really know what to do, and our assignment was we had to write an obituary of someone who passed away from COVID, right?
Hmm.
And they weren't giving us names. We just had to cold call families and be like, "Hey, I know your loved one just passed away, but can I write a story on them? I don't have any credentials, but we're doing this for a school assignment." So that right out the gate was just like a lot of people boycotted the assignment. Some people didn't do it. Some people did do it because they just felt really uncomfortable. But for me, I was just like, when we get out into the quote unquote real world or whatever, you know that you're going to be handed a lot of things that you're not comfortable with, that you're uncomfortable with, that you're going to have to do. So
Hmm.
I was kind of just like, okay, let me figure it out. Let me do it. The conversation was at the beginning, it was a little bit awkward, a little bit uncomfortable, you know, because you're this random kid coming out of nowhere. You're just doing a school assignment. You just asked about, it was a very real person who just had someone very real die, you know, or pass
Right.
away to COVID. So I asked them, but in the end, you know, seeing them talk about their loved one, the way they lit up, you know, the way they reminisce about this person to them, and it was a mutual friend of mine. It was his dad that passed away, and you know, just getting to see him talk about his dad and kind of like just explain, go through the memories, and then write something that did get published. I forget where exactly it got published. And he got to read it, and he said he loved it. And in the end, it just showed me, you know, while it was super uncomfortable to just walk up to someone and just say, "Hey, like, can I do this?" or whatever, it was very rewarding at the end of the day. And you know, if I could do that, then nothing else in the future was going to be that difficult.
I see. No, that's amazing. I'm glad to hear that. That's great. So, you've worked for a lot of different companies in your career. Which place in this industry do you feel like you learned the most skills from?
Honestly, I would say a mix between Sportsnet and a mix between Raptors Republic because I got kind of a bit of both. With
Right.
Raptors Republic, they actually sent me to 905 games. You know, they sent me to do actual interview the players and get the reps and do it in a real time situation. It's way different from school because this time you don't have a teacher like telling you, okay, this is right and wrong. You know, this is where you go. You have to figure it out as soon as you get there. Some people, they might not treat you the best. Some people, they might not give you as much access as other
Right.
people. So that was with Raptors Republic. I got a lot of reps too, and I think my first article I wrote for Raptors Republic, it was something like the Raptors were stuck in purgatory, and this is how they could get out of that purgatory. You know, they weren't good
Mhm.
enough to be a playoff team, but they weren't bad enough to be a lottery team. And then when I wrote that article, the Raptors fan base just let me have it. They were just tearing me to shreds. Some people agreed with it, some people hated on the article, and just learning how to deal with that with backlash too helped. But then with Sportsnet, it was the behind the scenes of everything, you know, with the Raptor show or all the Jeff Merrick show or all these different things, how seeing how they clipped these things, seeing how they brought on guests, seeing how they did ad sponsorships, seeing how they or Will and all the other guys formulated questions or how they prepared their research, you know, even doing like my own podcast or whatever. Okay, this is what goes into it. This is how they reach out, the how organized they are, like the algorithms, the analytics, everything down to where they put the sponsorship logo. So it was more like behind the scenes. So both those places really did help going forward to creating my own content.
That's amazing. I'm glad to hear, man. That's great. So, how do you see like the future of sports journalism, particularly content creation, like you mentioned, creating your own content, particularly like evolving, particularly in the realm of digital media now?
Mhm. Honestly, I've thought about this a lot. It's a really good question too. I've anytime someone's asked it to me, I think we're gonna start going away from longer forms of writing. Like I
Right.
think some people will still read features and recaps and things like that, but I feel like the more we evolve to video content, like S's content or Samson or like I mentioned before, guys like Mike Korzemba or even short form like TikTok, you know, people want
Right.
their information fast. What happened in the NBA finals today? Okay, this happened, this happened, this happened. I couldn't watch it. This happened, or quick little 30-second to a minute videos of
Right.
about this player, you know. So I think we're going more and more to video content creation and we're moving away from writing. As much as I hate that because I love writing and I love writing recaps and I love writing features, I think it's just the attention span and all of that going forward to now. Like a lot of people when you with TikTok, if you can get your videos past 30 seconds, that's how they push it out to more more other like other people to watch it. That's how the algorithm
Exactly.
works,
Right.
you know?
Right. Right. Right.
So a lot of people now with writing, they'll read the first one or two paragraphs, but then they'll be like, okay, this is too long for me. I'm gonna go watch a video. So
Right.
it sucks, like it sucks because I know a lot of writers, and they put days into their work. They do a lot of research, and it just sucks because the attention span has just been affected so much by things like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, YouTube videos. Even now, YouTube videos, people don't want to watch 15-minute videos. So
Right.
I think it's just gonna evolve more and more to fast paced, faster creation type content.
Exactly, man. Micro content is the way right now.
Exactly.
So, segueing from the journalism questions, going into the main focus of today, which is the Toronto Raptors. Uh, let's assess the offseason moves. I've broken down into three different kind of categories. So, the
Mhm.
first one I wanted your opinion and perspective on the re-signings of Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel quickly. What
Mhm.
do you think of them?
I love it. I love it. I think they had to do it. I'm
Right.
really high
Right.
on this core of Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Grady Dick. I don't know if what's gonna happen with Gary Trent Jr.,
Mhm.
but I think they had to. They had to do this re-signings. They had to pull the
Right.
trigger. Scotty is the pillar of the future.
Mhm.
Emmanuel Quickly. A lot of people I've seen Raptors Twitter is like 50-50 on Emmanuel Quickly. They're saying that's not our point guard of the future. We can get someone better. We need someone to create more offense, but I like it. He came
I like him
in.
too.
He
Yep.
I love Quickly. He came in
Right.
and he immediately solved our spacing issues. We need someone that hit the threes, that could run that pick and roll with Jakob, that can be that kind of shifty guard. And he was
Right.
perfect with someone like RJ or with someone like Scotty. So honestly, I love it. I think this core can really do something special. For my own prediction, I think they might be 6 to 8 seed next year, if
Mhm.
anything. And honestly, I feel like someone like RJ could take an all-star leap. Could take an
Wow.
all-star leap next season.
Wow. Okay. That's great to hear. So the second kind of part of the three-parter
Mhm.
is the Davion Mitchell trade. That trade, I think we absolutely sniped the Kings
Yes.
in that trade for Jalen McDaniels, a garbage reserve on the Raptors
Yeah.
for three players.
Yeah.
One of them being the 45th pick in this year's draft, Jamal Sheed, and
Mhm.
we also got Sasha Vezenkov, who's a three-point sharpshooter, and Davion Mitchell, who's now going to be the Raptors' backup point guard behind Emmanuel quickly.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about this trade? I love it. I'm sure you do as well. I just want your perspective on it.
Oh, we definitely sniped them. We
Yeah,
we
yeah,
definitely
we did, man.
as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Let's go." I had this running joke with my other like colleagues and one of my friends
Right,
at Raptors Republic for
right, right, right.
I kept saying Jaden McDaniels was like our KD, our future KD, and I kept just gassing him up, even though I just knew it would never work out. But this is an incredible trade. This adds depth to the
This,
Raptors. It's kind of just fueling this whole vision of what I see Darko doing with the team, just getting these guards filling spots we need to really fill out, and I feel
right.
like if we lose someone like Gary Trent Jr. too, we have the reserves. I'm gonna do a deep dive tomorrow on our running back show on Raptors Republic about Jamal Sheed. I just have to go and
Mhm.
do a little bit more research with him and see what he does bring to the team. But honestly, I'm excited. I'm excited. We got rid of someone like Jalen McDaniels. He wasn't doing anything for us, and we brought back core pieces that can actually help the team.
Yeah, honestly, we did. We like you mentioned before, we could get into that 6 and 8 seed for
Hmm.
next season because we're much better as a
Hmm.
bench too. I think last year we had like broken pieces. We had like veterans and like young guards, but like they didn't, the chemistry wasn't there. I
Yeah,
feel like with now we actually have a vision with what this team is.
exactly.
Emmanuel quickly's back. And by the way, Emmanuel and RJ, they came back what in the second half of the year. They didn't
Hmm.
have that much time to, prove themselves. They were just
Exactly.
trying to get their reps in, get the chemistry right with the other players. So this year, I'm excited for this year. And I'm also excited for the draft picks, which is like the third parter of my
Hmm.
three-parter of this whole offseason moves for the Raptors. What do you think about the NBA draft picks that we got? Number 19, Jacoby Walter, number 31, Jonathan Mobo, and number 45, Jamal Sheed.
I trust it. I'm trusting in Masai right now.
Right.
I hope we got that higher pick, but like I was part of the I was part of the tank crew to get that pick, but I trust they did their job with the scouting and everything. He fills a need again to one of the wings, and I feel like our second pick too, we needed to solve that center issue as well. Like while I do love Jakob,
Hmm.
I don't see Yaka fitting into the, like we mentioned, the future of this team, kind of that
Right.
core vision. Like,
Right.
yes, he is a good rebounder. He does play good defense. He has solid pick and roll with Emmanuel quickly, but the fact that he can't space the floor, especially in today's NBA, I feel it really hinders someone like an RJ Barrett who drives to the rim. He's mainly a rim
Exactly.
runner. He likes to finish through tough
Right.
layups, and when you got Jakob right there, it's hard to kind of space the floor. So with these type of guys, they open that up more. They allow us to run different types of lineups, a lot more variety in the team. So honestly, I'm just excited to see it. I'm just excited to see
Yeah.
how it all works out, and he could really develop into something special.
Honestly, you can. Definitely, definitely. I felt like the Raptors could have at least gotten a center in this draft. Wouldn't you
I
agree?
I feel like they should have too. Again, like I said, like they needed. I don't know if they plan on using Boucher more or if they're using whoever else to try and pull up from the 905. I think they
Mhm.
should have looked at any other center in this draft, because again, Jakob Poeltl, while he is good, I don't think he can be part of that. So honestly, I'm with the rest of you guys that they should have looked at a big man, someone to really help again that could space the floor and play defense, because that is crucial in this type of era, this generation of NBA we're
For
in.
sure, for sure, definitely. Kind of a fun second last question to you,
Mm,
Kyle. What has been your favorite offseason moves in this NBA? Chris Paul to the Spurs we got Klay Thompson to the Mavericks.
mm,
So many different
yeah.
uh, things happening, and just recently DeRozan went to the Kings, former
Mm.
Raptors. So, what has been your favorite? And not kind of surprised you, but you just love that move for that team.
Like, I'll tell you what I hate. First of all, I hate that the Lakers got worse because
Yeah, yeah,
LeBron's my boy. He's one of the main reasons I started watching
right.
basketball.
For sure. Same
So
here.
it's just they got worse. I was hoping they got anyone. They got CP3, they got Clay, they got anyone. I was hoping that they did something, but
Yeah,
they're in the negatives right now. For me, they're in the negatives. Like they
right.
lost more than they gained. But
Exactly.
honestly, I want to say the 76ers for getting Paul George,
That
but
was a huge one. Yo.
every time I put my faith in Paul George, he like vanishes in the playoffs. So I don't want to. I want to say that, but I think for me, it would have to be Clay to the Mavs.
Clay to the
I
max.
know
Yeah.
the memes of 0 for 10
Yeah.
in elimination game and all that, but this guy is one of the best 3-point shooters we have ever seen. It adds more
Sure.
spacing with guys like Clay, with Kyrie and Luca. They cut off that corner three last time because they
Yo.
didn't have someone like that. Now they have a Clay. I would say like second place, I would be hyped for CP3. I was really
Yeah.
hoping CP3 came to the Lakers because we
Yeah.
really needed we needed somebody to create offense when LeBron went to the bench, but somehow they didn't do it. I'm hyped Wemby got a point guard. Wemby got a point guard that can finally see him when he's open in the open in the paint.
For
He'll be
sure.
he'll be
Yeah.
screaming for the ball, clapping his hands, and no one passes him the ball. So
Exactly.
so
Finally
he
got that person.
yeah. So finally he got someone. Maybe he'll learn things from Chris
For
Paul.
sure.
He has a
Definitely.
mentor now, and he could get even better. I'm just excited to see, as long as Wemby can stay healthy. He had a dominant rookie season, and I'm just wishing the best for him. But like,
Yeah.
it's been a bittersweet offseason.
It's been a bittersweet offseason. I think it
Yeah.
it really just shocked me how many ridiculous moves happened
Yeah,
in like the
yeah,
span of like the first 2 weeks of free
weeks,
agency.
yeah.
Normally it takes like a while. When I was a
Hmm.
kid growing up, it took like, 2, 3 weeks for like every player would be on the move like 1 week at a time. It
Yeah.
wasn't like all of them all at once in like these
Hmm.
2 weeks. So it's honestly been fascinating to watch, and there's many more off-season moves probably that are still to come. But Kyle, on that note, thank you for coming on my show. Last question.
Hmm.
Any advice you want to give for aspiring broadcasters, people who want to get into the sports media industry?
I'd say honestly, just be yourself and stick to what you love doing. Don't be afraid to branch out as well. Like what I've learned from everybody I've talked to right now, and there's a couple different things I can say, is make as many connections as you can. Number one. And I don't mean be fake and just do it because I want to use this person later on. Be genuine, form friendships with people, ask questions, want to learn about the business and why people do what they do. Once people see you're interested and actually have a genuine aura about you, I should say, they're more incited, or in I guess they want to help you more. And then don't be afraid to learn things like video editing or content creation, or if you're not really about writing, learn more about how to writing or how to write, I should say how to write. Because the more you can do in this field, the better it is for you to land a position somewhere. Because if you can just write, and like I said before, if the media is moving towards content creation, they're not going to need as many writers before. But if you're like, hey, I can write and I can edit, or I can be on video and I can be off video, and I can do all different forms, they're going to take someone that can be a jack of all trades versus someone that's one thing. And I
Exactly.
would say again, just stick to your strengths, just stick to your strengths, stick to what you love. And when you go in it with a genuine hunger and a genuine of wanting to improve and be the best person you can be, you can never fail. Never
Mm.
fail.
Amazing words said by Kyle Ramnarine right
Thank
there.
you.
Kyle, thanks so much for coming on the show. You can follow him on his social handles. You can also follow the Raptors Republic. I'll put all the social handles related to Kyle and himself in the description down below for y'all to go and connect and follow his channels. Kyle, thanks for doing this, man. I had a great time talking with you.
Thank you. I appreciate this so much. Would love to do it again.
No problem, man. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.